Hey, it's Nathan. I'm going to show you today how we use math in the wonderful world of video production with my friend Ben Cow. So, Ben, how do you use math in video production?
My job involves taking a script like this and turning it into a finished video, and I use math to do it. And the first thing you'll notice about this script is I've written numbers on the side. That's my timing. This is a 30-second spot. There's a lot of math that goes into figuring out how you're going to fit a lot of content into 30 seconds and have it make a lot of sense. So the script says that without oxygen, fire burns out. That's what we're going off of. So, household candle, aim a flame. Here's where science gets involved. If we cover up the candle, it's going to burn out the oxygen. Fire's going to go out. Pretty cool, simple little concept, and she's out.
So how does math help you build this spot?
So math is involved before we even capture the first bit of video on tape. How, you ask? Really simple. Everything from frame rate to what type of videotape you're using to how you capture your audio, all those things involve math. You have bit depth for your audio. You have, okay, do you shoot it on film, which is 24 different frames every second, or do you shoot in video format, which is a little less than 30 frames per second, or do you shoot in another country standard, which is 25 frames per second. So before you even decide what your final commercial is going to look like, you have to decide how you're going to shoot it and what format and what standards you're going to use to get there. Math is very important in that process. Okay, so now you're ready to shoot. Well, now we have more questions. What kind of lighting do we use? Because different lighting has different color temperature. Once again, math. Where coarse lighting has about 3200 Kelvin, daylight's 5600 Kelvin, it looks more blue. Fluorescent somewhere in between, and it looks more green. So what kind of lighting do we want to use to enhance this shot? Well, the answer is we'd use a quartz lighting. We use a lighting that's about 3200 Kelvin because our candle is about 2400 Kelvin. It's going to look a little more red than even our quartz lighting, but it's way different than the far spectrum between daylight at 5600 Kelvin and 2400 Kelvin.
Okay, so we've seen how math was used in the planning and shooting part. How is math used when you edit the actual footage?
So let's go to our Mac to see how we edit. First thing we notice, these scopes show us the relationship between colors and light and dark parts of the video stream. That's very important. We can see here that this is the dark part of the screen, this is the light part of the screen. This is how my candle affects it. Nothing rocket science there. So you see here there's also a relationship between red, green, and blue. These are what the red levels, green levels, and blue levels are in our signal. You've probably learned in science that red, green, and blue are the three primary colors, and combined they will give you white. Well, in the same way, in video, we use red, green, and blue in your TV sets at home or on your LCD monitors or whatever. There's three parts. There's red, green, and blue. We can see those here. We can also see in this scope, which is called a vector scope, the relationship between colors. And there's a lot of math that goes into that. Understanding how relationships work, understanding how much color is too much color or what colors are wrong and how to correct those. For instance, when we shot, let's say we didn't balance on what our lighting source was. Well, that would cause maybe a blue picture or a red picture or maybe even a green picture. We would use this vector scope to adjust for that and correct the colors.
Okay, we've shot it, let's edit it.
The important thing is timing. Figure we've got a 30-second commercial to work with, and there's 30 frames in a second of video, so we have 900 frames to work with. That sounds like a lot, but really, it's not very much for a 30-second spot. So we've got to figure out every one of those frames, what exactly we're going to show the viewer to make this commercial as dynamic as possible. Let's see. So any one shot probably won't last more than a second. maybe 2 at the most. Because we have only 30 seconds to work with, we're trying to compress a lot of shots into that time frame. So first thing I'll do is I'll mark out the feel of the commercial. I'll mark out where those shots feel right. Here's where the math gets involved. So after I'm done marking it out, let's say this frame here. I'm going to just pick this frame, and I'm going to say that frame is 14 frames. It's a half a second, basically. 30 frames in a second, half a second. So, which half a second is the right half a second to use? That's where it becomes difficult. So I can go to this editor window, and knowing that I have a 14 frame shot to pick from, I have to align using math, figuring out, okay, I want this frame to do something at 7 frames in, halfway into the shot. So aligning that, going plus or minus the number of frames I need to go, using my math to figure that out, how far I need to go plus or minus to get the frame to line up exactly with the music, or to get it to line up with some other shot that's in the background. So I figured that out for one shot. Now I need to do it about 50 more times. Okay, so now we're all done. Our project is finished, and here it is.
Fire. It keeps us warm, gives us light, and its heat can even purify. But without oxygen, its light fades away. What about you? Has the fire gone out in your life? Are you starving for fresh air? At Faith Miracle Temple, we want to help you rekindle your life, find your purpose, and develop meaningful relationships with people just like you. Faith Miracle Temple. Fresh air for a new life.
Hey Ben, thanks for your time today. Thanks for showing us how you use math in video production.
It was a lot of fun.
Thanks.